Hey everybody, thanks for joining. Hey there, Amanda. Good to have you here on the live stream. Wow, people are joining in fast tonight. So yeah, I'm sitting here in the hotel room and in Indianapolis, well technically Fishers. Hey there, Emmy. Welcome to the live stream. Good to have you here. Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. Thousand-faced moon. Hi, how you doing? Good to have you. You can kind of see stuff going on outside. It's kind of a cool area. Fishers and Carmel area are really kind of cool. Just north of Indianapolis. Technically, it's all Marion County. Hey there, Big Steve. Just hanging out. Not doing much at all. Just got back in from filming actually in the cold. It's been raining here. Hey there, Roy. Pretty much all day it's been just like drizzling and nasty. And I've been trying to get some filming done, but I only got one location done today. I'm going to be doing a bunch of filming in the city tomorrow. And yeah, make sure to say hi to Big Steve, everybody. You know Big Steve from my adventures out in California. So yeah, I'll be heading into downtown Indianapolis tomorrow. And a couple other locations as well. Most of it within, well, all of it almost within the city limits here. Got about, let's see, I think 5 or 6 locations that I'm trying to film. I might try to do another, depending on how much time I have and how cold it is. I'm going to try to maybe do a live stream tomorrow live from like the center of the circle in Indianapolis. Thanks, Steve. I always appreciate you, man. You know, I know you support me, and I support you too. I'm not always in the comments, but I usually try to catch everything you do as long as I am available. Or if not, I rewatch some stuff later. But you know me. And obviously, trying to make it back out to California. Me and Steve will be doing some more adventures together when I get back out there. We got a few places lined up that we're going to try and do, so that'll be a lot of fun. Oh, did I miss somebody? Hey, Patricia. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us tonight. So yeah, I just wanted to hang out for a little bit from the hotel. And then again, like I said, if it's not super cold, the iPhone doesn't do really well in super cold, and it doesn't do really well in super hot weather. So if it's not too bad, the center of the city is really pretty awesome and lit up well at night, and fun to kind of walk around and check things out, and there's some cool stuff down there. So I might try to do that tomorrow night. I do have dinner plans with a friend of mine. Got a cold out in California, Steve. I'm surprised I haven't got a cold here. It has been pretty cold the last few weeks, but I know that really doesn't have anything to do with catching a cold. But hey there, Andrew. Good to have you. Oh, Bloomington. I almost stayed in Bloomington, actually. The hotel prices are really awesome in Bloomington. They're like half the price of everything else. Yeah, I'm going to try to. I will try to do some live walking tomorrow night. I'm kind of in for the night. It was a very tiring day. I drove around for about 3 hours, tried to find stuff to film, found one place to film, and then it was pretty much raining the rest of the time. And then on top of that, I pretty much got a call 20 minutes before check-in to my hotel, my first hotel, not this room. And they said that they actually didn't have the room available that I booked, and so they were very sorry. And so I had to spend the next like hour and a half trying to look for a new hotel room. So I ended up heading here and found a really cool room here, so ended up really well. So I'm not really too bitter about that. I am very tired. Yeah. Spent a couple hours on the road and then another couple hours searching for a single location in the rain, and it was just exhausting. Not physically exhausting, just more mentally exhausting. Hey there, Sarah. Good to have you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, it was one heck of a day. I got pretty far east of the city. Oh yeah. There are certain hotel rooms, honestly, that I avoid now, honestly, because of Dan Bell and because of my own experience. I don't like franchise hotels anymore. This is the Hampton Inn. It's like a Hilton hotel. It's a little bit more expensive, but you kind of pay for the quality. And some of the hotels that are like privately owned, they're technically not owned by the company, they're just franchised out. You find very quickly that the quality kind of goes up and down. So, oh, awesome! Yeah, I just watched Dan Bell's Another Dirty Room live a couple days ago. It was really funny and disgusting. One of the worst that I've seen on his channel, between roaches, like rat droppings. They found, I think, a crack pipe. Did I say hi to Jake? Hey, Jake. Hey, Dory. He used to be a housekeeper. Oh, yeah, I can imagine I'll be on that side. Yeah, definitely not. Obviously, some places are really dirty, but I don't want to take it out on the staff too much. Because, yeah, I know the housekeepers work very hard, and you know, there's a lot of different factors in it, so definitely don't want to take it out on those people. And yeah, I would imagine from their side it would be very terrible walking into some of the situations where you have to clean up after somebody who's been incredibly dirty or done some incredibly strange things in the hotel. I do like how that window looks. I just noticed that with all the traffic going. I mean, I noticed it before, but like I feel like the traffic just picked up in the last few minutes as I went live. It wasn't quite that cool looking. That's kind of neat. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I feel sorry for the housekeeping staff a little bit too, in situations like that. Linda, hi. Awesome. Always good to have the Australian audience here. I think I said that in the last live stream too. But yeah. Yeah, I'll have to get a little bit closer here in a second and give you guys a little bit of a tour of the room here. That's why I like the rooms that are high up. Hi there, Kenneth. Welcome to the live stream. What time is it here? It is just going on 8:30 here. So not incredibly late. But just a tiring day, and it's been raining off and on. I loved the Linkin Park. All the different Linkin Park. I think what is there 3 of them now that he's done, and the last one he actually found legitimate human remains, bones, nothing too morbid. I mean, I guess that is morbid, but nothing too out there, I guess. So only 12:30 p.m. Wow, I'd have a lot of my day left if that was the case. I kind of wish it was only 12:30 p.m. here too. I wish it was a little bit warmer here too, because I would love to go out and walk around. This part of town is amazing. There's lots of little small shops. There's lots of really cool buildings. Hey there, Kyle. Welcome to the live stream. Oh yeah, I remember something like that, and then I remember that he. I don't know if it was the same series, but I think it was in the same area. He saw the car on fire while he was there, which was kind of interesting and a little bit scary. $125,000 in a briefcase. Wow, that would be the find of a lifetime. Hey there, Faye. Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, I would love to find that. I do, whenever I check into a room, I usually go through all the drawers just to see if anybody's left anything, if anything strange is in there. You never know whether somebody left something or maybe somebody's hiding something in there, you know, whether it's drug paraphernalia or a recording device or something kind of crazy like that. So I always kind of go through everything just to make sure. Yeah, I've never been to Baltimore. So yeah, I wouldn't really know. I mean, at least he's got his strength on his side. But yeah, I don't know much about it. But yeah, I mean, he's a brave guy, and he's been in some really weird, sketchy situations too. So, I mean, I gotta hand it to him. Did I ever find the 1970s? No, I'm still looking. I've been back there. I actually did some filming there just a couple months ago. Hey there, Sue. Hey, Jenny. Good to have you. Very ballsy. Yeah, Dan Bell is very brave. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I gotta hand it to him. I mean, he goes in places that I would never go in, for sure. And he's had some close calls. I know he was in a trap house once in some downtown area, and people actually came in, and I think he kind of thought he was gonna get hurt, and he was hiding there for a while. I don't know how he got out of the situation. I don't even remember how he got out of the situation, but some pretty scary stuff. Have I ever found something? I mean, I found familiar names, but I don't know that I've actually. I mean, I've been to my. When I was in Kentucky, I actually went to my own family's cemetery. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of family there. I've never found like anybody like with my exact name or anything like that, though. So, but I mean, I have a fairly common name, so it's not unusual to see stuff pop up. So, yeah, I guess from time to time. But yeah, and I've also been to people that were actually related to me, or to cemeteries where people were actually related to me. So, yeah, and if you've never seen the Kentucky series, make sure to check that out. We went and checked out a ghost town that literally my dad used to live in that town, and now it's pretty much completely gone, other than a few people that have hung around, but they don't technically live in the town. The town itself was a coal mining town, and it's completely been obliterated and moved away by the former coal mining company that used to own the mine and now no longer own it. So it is technically a complete ghost town, and although the definition of ghost town doesn't necessarily mean that no one lives there anymore. So a couple people made some comments on it that it's not a ghost town, there's people that are living there. It's like, that's not technically the definition of a ghost town. The definition of a ghost town is it's mostly disappeared to completely disappeared. So but at any rate, none of you guys obviously. Thank you, Faye. Yeah, it was a fun series to do. I'm hoping to go back again here really soon. Hoping to do a little bit more family series out in Maryland here pretty soon, maybe this year, in fact. And yeah, it should be an interesting year. Oh, really? Wow. Your aunt was buried in the Hayward Cemetery. The one on the hill, or the one with all the trees and the pictures that we found. I guess the one without the mausoleums, or with the mausoleums. But yeah, that's really crazy. That's amazing. I always find it interesting that sometimes people comment that they recognize the place or they recognize the people in my videos, and I think that's really amazing that the videos make it that far around that somebody actually recognizes the places and the names. So, I mean, that's amazing. That's really cool. But yeah, I've had a decent amount of comments where people are like, oh yeah, my family's buried there, or like you said, you noticed a name and then looked it up and realized that it was a relative. Okay, yeah, very beautiful place. Very beautiful place. Yeah, where the founder of Hayward was actually buried. Um, yeah, really incredible. Actually, both the places that we went were really incredible. So, um, yeah, just a really fun adventure. I can't wait to get to the back to the Bay Area. An amazing place, one of the coolest places I've ever visited in the United States. That road trip in general was just completely amazing. Cemeteries in Memphis? No, I've never been to any cemeteries in Memphis. I should probably check it out sometime. I'd love to go down to Tennessee again. I love Tennessee. I've been through there a lot. I've stayed there a lot. But yeah, I've never really checked it out. Hey there, Ian. Thanks for joining us. Good to have you, man. Um, a Red Cross cemetery between Bloomington and Bedford. Oh, yeah, I didn't know about that. People don't know why it was created. That's interesting. Huh. I'll have to look that up. Maybe I can, if I have time tomorrow, maybe I can run and check that out. It might not work into the plans tomorrow, but I have actually quite a few plans to make it back down this way. I've got places that I haven't been able to make it to in the area. And so I'm going to be coming back this way a few different times, so. You grew up there, okay. That makes sense. And yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah, I like the fact that my videos can kind of make that connection with people that, um, they recognize stuff and can sort of connect with their own family and connect with places that they used to live. And it's really a cool part of what I do. Sorry again, I should probably have flipped I wonder if I can flip. I know I can't now, but next time I'm going to try and flip the camera the other way so that the comments are on the same side as the actual camera, so I don't have to always look strange. How far south have I been? Pretty far south. The farthest south I've ever been in the United States, other than Southern California, was the Florida Keys. Which I did not make it all the way through the Florida Keys, but I made it halfway through to, I can't remember what the middle key is called, actually. But anyway, I made it down quite some ways through the Florida Keys. So, but unfortunately never on film. Hey there, Jade. Glad you made it. Yeah, so another thing I wanted to go over. Louisiana, yeah, I want to visit Louisiana too. That's one place that's definitely on the list. I wanted to get there last time when I was down in Alabama, but I wasn't able to make it. But anyway, yeah. So I was watching the, like I said earlier, the ADR live, and it kind of confirmed that it's sort of a site-wide problem with the notifications. Dan Bell mentioned the same thing. He said, people unsubscribe, resubscribe, turn it off, turn it on, and notifications still never come out. So I don't know that it's definitely not my channels only. So it's just a site-wide thing that YouTube is unfortunately either dealing with or not dealing with completely. We don't really know at this point. They don't really tell us. Excuse me. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things. It's frustrating, and they don't really clue us in on whether or not they're working to fix it. So yeah, that's where we stand on the notification issue. No one knows what's going on at this point. No YouTuber has any idea what's going on. They're all kind of suffering from it. So yeah, it's sad and unfortunate. Also, if you guys are liking the live stream, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you got any other social media like Twitter or Facebook or anything like that, and you want to hit that share button and share it on your favorite social media platform, make sure you do that. But yeah, again, if you guys like it, make sure to hit that thumbs up button at the very least. And yeah, be happy to take any comments. Again, if anybody's just watching and wanting to only watch, I'm happy to have you here too. So feel free to just hang out and listen in or ask whatever questions you want. Hey there, Shauna. Good to have you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Did I miss something? Oh, with the YouTube, yeah, but not tell. Yeah, I don't really know what the situation is. Honestly, it seems like it would be better for their bottom line. You know, monetarily, it seems like it would be better to notify as many people as possible that each individual creator is either live or has created a new video to boost those views. So I just don't understand. I know as someone who's worked in IT for a long time, it can be a mystery in some ways, especially when it comes to programming. That side of things, sometimes things can be a bit elusive, and so it may be one of those things where they don't know what quite is going on. But it does seem sort of counterintuitive in a lot of ways that they're not really doing anything to fix it, because the more views you get, the more money they make. So, I mean, I really don't understand it. Hey there, Todd. Good to have you here. Hoping to do a bunch of filming, assuming that the weather cooperates with me tomorrow. So, it didn't cooperate today, but I got one really cool place in. And then I found another really cool place, too. Yeah, with the notifications, it's just kind of random. It's hard to tell who gets them, who doesn't, who has a problem, who doesn't. Some creators have almost no problems at all. Some creators have tons of problems, like I said, with, like Dan Bell. Dan Bell's watchers have a lot of problems with their notifications, and they're often saying in his chat, too, that they're not getting the notifications for the live streams. Not getting the notifications for the videos, and it just depends. It's just completely random at this point. So, and if you ask them to do something, they'll kind of act like they're trying to help, and they'll act like they're gonna go through and take a look at everything. But what they're really doing in the background, I don't know. Deer Creek. Oh, the outdoor concert place. I think. I'm not exactly sure. I've never been there before, but I know what you're talking about. Waverly Hills. I've never been to Waverly Hills. I've heard that they give YouTubers kind of a hard time. The guys at Urban Ghost Urban Exploration, when we were down in Alabama, we actually discussed it, and they're, as some of you know, friends with Omar Gosh, and apparently Omar went there and tried to film, and they gave him a really, really hard time. I don't know if he actually ended up releasing the video or if he never released it, but they basically wanted to charge him like $1,000, and then they said that all videos would be for personal use only, and he wouldn't be allowed to upload them to YouTube. To which he pretty much said that that's the whole point. I'm a YouTuber. That's what I do for a living. Hey there, John. Welcome to the live stream. So, hey there, girl in the curl. Good to have you. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, that's the deal with Waverly Hills. I really want to go. I've read a lot about it. I've seen a lot of pictures. I've seen some movies that were made based on the location. I think it'd be really cool to do. And you're delivering for currently, wow. Well, good luck in your delivery route tonight. Hopefully you get some good tips. So yeah, it would be a really amazing location. It's a really cool place, a lot of history behind it, a lot of rumors. I hope that I keep tapping on the table here. I hope that's not too annoying. But anyway, yeah, a lot of crazy haunted rumors, ghost rumors, all kinds of strange things that go on there, and it would be really, really cool to be able to get the chance to go down there. But again, it's typically, no matter who you are, pretty expensive just to get through the door. They charge a lot. Some of the tours are guided, some of the tours are unguided, and some of them are complete overnight. But like I said, you're looking, I think if I remember correctly, you're looking at dropping like $1,000 to spend the night and do your own self-guided tour. And then, like I said, they kind of don't want you to post it, which to me in 2020 is kind of, again, a counterintuitive thing. To the people out there that live in the area and they watch the video, they're more likely to want to go there and experience it themselves. The places, I think, feel like you're kind of stealing from them because you're posting this place online, so nobody has to come now. But that's just not the case. People don't watch the videos online and go, okay, I'm done. A lot of people experience it online through a video and they're like, wow, I need to go to this place and experience it for myself live. I really want to check this out now. And it really, I feel like it really cuts into their bottom dollar when they try to circumvent that sort of filming and sharing. So I don't think it's a good idea. Allowing the filming, I think, just is free advertisement. If I saw a really cool video and I knew I could go there and it was really close by, I'd want to go and check it out. And in fact, I watched the movies that weren't even real. They're fiction series just loosely based on the history of the place, and I was like, wow, I want to go and check that out for myself. But since there's this crazy fees and they don't allow you to post it on YouTube, then it kind of discourages me. So it's like, you're really kind of taking a lot of money out of your own pocket by making these really strange, arbitrary rules. Oh yeah, some places are off limits, some places aren't. It just all depends. You never know. If somebody knows that you're filming for a series, then sometimes they'll bend the rules. But yeah, I don't really know much about that property. Is it Baumeister? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So yeah, I would love to get some special access to places. I have a few things that I'm trying to get access to. There's actually an abandoned amusement park. I don't know how much of it's left. It's in northern Indiana, and roundaboutly, in fact, the person that I'm going to dinner with tomorrow night literally knows the owners of it. So I might mention it to him tomorrow. Maybe he can get a hold of him, or I think his parents were friends with the owner, so maybe he can get a hold of his parents. But yeah, they own a restaurant, and behind the restaurant is a completely abandoned amusement park. It used to be open when I was younger, and we always wanted to go there when we were up staying at my friend's lake cottage. I don't think I ever got the chance to actually go there, though. But yeah, now a lot of it is, well, not a lot of it, the whole thing is abandoned, and so I've been contemplating trying to get into it via these people, if in fact they still own the property. I'm pretty sure they do, because I'm about 95% sure that they still own the restaurant. So yeah, there's kind of a lot of strange mysteries and haunted stories and weird places here in Indy. There's supposed to be a mansion too that you can even drive past, and you're supposed to be able to see stuff in the windows. I guess it's supposedly completely abandoned, and they say that, again, who knows who they is sometimes, and if they are correct or if they're just telling stories. But I think it's called like the Blue Mansion. And if I remember, it's something with blue in the name, and supposedly if you drive by at night, you can see like somebody standing in the window still. So I think it'd be interesting. You never know with stuff like that. Sometimes they do it for the publicity, and they'll put stuff up. So I always kind of take that with a grain of salt. It's like, maybe it's real, or maybe they're just looking, to get interviews, or make money off of it some other way. The same goes for like these like haunted museums, or supposedly that have like, it's like, oh, if you walk past it at 3 a.m. you can hear the piano playing. It's like, yeah, that could be real, or you could just be doing that for publicity. So I always wonder about stuff like that. I'd like to get like physical proof of it before I believed it. Yeah, there's an old abandoned jail where I live that's supposed to be pretty crazy like that, but I don't know if they let you into film, uh, because they actually use it as a real, well, not a real, but like a entertainment haunted house during Halloween. So that'd be an interesting one too, though. They say a lot of people that work there and build the sets every year are often scared because they hear the real stuff going on. I'm gonna have to look up this story that you guys are talking about because I don't think I'm familiar with it. House of Blue. Yeah, I think that's it. Indy or Westfield. Just been noted. Well, at least you were one of the ones that got uh, the notifications. Do I ever use Atlas Obscura? Oh, yeah, I have been to that site. Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. You can find some interesting stuff to visit. Every once in a while, I do. At the haunted jail? Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah, I've heard a lot of crazy rumors about that, including in the newspaper. They always interview people because it's a well-known thing that people that work there often at least hear stuff. I don't know if they see stuff. I'm not sure exactly the full extent of everything, but yeah, there's lots of crazy rumors. That's the stuff that I like. It's like there's tons of witnesses that hear or see lots of things, and it's almost undeniable that something's going on one way or the other. Whether it's supernatural or somehow naturally explained, there's something going on there, and nobody knows why. It's a mystery. There's also a really cool jail that's not haunted that I want to visit that's now abandoned, and it was, I think, one of the only jails in the country it's a rotating jail. Each of the cells would rotate around in a circle so they could let people out at a certain entrance. And I'm not really sure the state of that. I need to look that up again. I haven't read about it in a long time, so I don't really remember correctly. Oop. They let you film in the library. Did I miss about the library we're talking about? That'd be awesome. I'd love to go in. There's something creepy about a lot of the bigger libraries. Crap on libraries. They're really cool places, but especially the bigger libraries that have like the basements and the sub basements and stuff like that. There's something kind of old and eerie, and obviously old. A lot of them are really old, but I mean, once you get down in those sub basements, it's like there's something. It takes on a sort of a life of its own. May you join me in a tour of a cemetery? I mean, you never know. If I'm in your area, possibly. Evil spirits cannot enter. Huh. I was actually born at IU University Hospital. Not that it has anything to do with that, but just, so I'm literally back in the place of my birth right now. Hey there, Donna. Good to have you here. I'm doing great. I hope you're doing well as... I almost said well as well. Hope you're doing well, too. Yeah, I think, it does sound like kind of a mechanical nightmare, and I think that's part of the reason that it got shut down. It just was not worth it anymore, Hot Topics, hey, how you doing? Sir Walter Scott. Very cool. But yeah, I mean, it's like there's there's a few rotating restaurants out there, and there's only a few because it probably is just, a nightmare to keep it up and running. I'd love to visit one, but at the same time, it just doesn't seem quite practical, which is probably why the restaurants are so expensive. So, yeah, but it's cool, and You don't see it very often. I don't know if it still rotates, the jail itself. I don't know if that still rotates. But, I mean, yeah, I'm going to have to look that up again. I know I have it saved back at the command center. So I'm going to have to look that up because I actually really have been wanting to visit that. And I can't remember the details of it. But if you look up Indiana rotating jail, you'll find it. It's I believe one of the few in existence ever, if there even was another one. Of a fun house. Yeah, that is a really accurate description. I kind of feel like somebody was just having fun, too. I don't know why anybody would ever be like, yeah, this is a really great idea. Let's make a jail that the entire cell block rotates. Why not just have it exit through a single door, through a hallway? You know, to have each individual cell rotate around to a specific... It just seems like a dumb idea. So I kind of feel like somebody just thought it was cool back in the day, and they're like, let's see if they'll buy into this idea. And they did, and then it went not out of business, but it went out of use. There's a rotating... I would love to go to Tasmania. That's definitely on the list of places to go among almost every other country in the world. Zach Baggins did it. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Well, it must be fairly famous countrywide then. I didn't realize that. Space Needle. Oh, that's what I was thinking. I was trying to think of the other place. I thought maybe it was in Vegas. Unless maybe Vegas has one too. But yeah, I remember the Space Needle being a rotating one. Which I really wonder how much that costs to operate that every year. I mean, I can't imagine electrical costs to rotate that huge of a platform. I know that it's slow, but at the same time, that has to cost a lot of money. Sydney and what? NSW, is that New South Wales? Is it in Vegas too? Maybe I can convince Xavier. I just talked to Xavier recently. We're supposed to do something here this year. We were talking about getting together somewhere in the middle, in between Vegas and Indiana, and doing something. I have a few ideas. I want to go on. I haven't really pitched it to him yet, but I kind of want to go on a treasure hunt with him. But I also want to get back to Vegas too. Maybe I can convince him to go up to the rotating restaurant and we can get some, well, if they'll allow it, some video and photography up there. I don't know what still photography would do for the place since it's rotating. It wouldn't really matter. But yeah, it's another place. Vegas is amazing. Can't wait to get back there too. Gonna be doing some bigger trips here shortly. It's been a really terrible winter. I hate to say it, but I kind of wish it was colder. Like, it's just been nasty, rainy, and muddy all winter long, and it hasn't been good for anything. It's part of the reason that I haven't gone back more times to find that lost 1970s graveyard, like somebody mentioned earlier. I really would have loved to gone back there. I had a lot of great ideas as to where it could possibly be, and I went back there one time, and it was still flooded. And so I really needed to get cold enough to freeze over, and it's cold now, and it's snowing now, and a lot of, well, every few days or so it'll snow, sometimes it rains, but it's just, the ground temperature has just not gotten cold enough. It's still soaking wet, it's muddy, it's terrible, and you just can't work in it. Today, when I went to I filmed this little cemetery I found on the side of the road. It was kind of in the middle of a farmer's field, and there's a little pathway to walk down, and immediately as I stepped into the field, I was just sinking. And I got through and I got to film the whole place, but it was terrible. It's in the mid-30s, and like I said, there in a few places there's snow on the ground, but you're just pretty much sinking in mud everywhere you go, so it's just annoying. Sorry, I gotta catch up here real quick on the comments. Denver had a great winter. I love Denver. Yeah, I had a great time driving through Denver last time. I wanted to stop. That's another place I have on the list. Whenever I head out west again, I'm going to be definitely doing some more stuff in Colorado. So, and more stuff in the mountains. The Rocky Mountains were crazy. I absolutely loved going through the mountains because I kind of took the detour. I was going out I-80, and then I took the detour through Colorado, through Denver, and then up through the mountains, and then came out on the other side, went north to Salt Lake City, and then took I-80 all the way, the rest of the way out to California. And I was kind of glad I took the detour. On the way back, I did end up hitting up Wyoming and had a really, well, kind of a cool time there. It was definitely some cool stuff to see. By the time I hit Wyoming and then back in Nebraska, I had hit the snow, and so that ended up being a nightmare and cracked my battery. Had to replace my battery in the middle of Nebraska. Had to walk from my hotel room all the way to like Walmart, which wasn't actually, I can't complain too much because it wasn't that far away, but if you look back on my Instagram and see the places or the photos where I had like 8-inch like icicles on the bottom of my car, that was Wyoming and Nebraska. So yeah. Oh no, I'm not. Yeah, definitely don't want to complain about the rain. I know there's some places that would love to have it, but no. More about the mud than anything. It's just when it comes to exploring and filming in this area, it's easier to be super dry and warm, or super cold and frozen. So it's more of that. Hey Trish, orange toboggan. There's a really cool toboggan around here. Not in Indy, in northern Indiana, in a place called Pokagon. The Old Enchanted Forest. I'll have to look that up. Hey there, Venna. Good to have you. Oh, by like the Indiana Dunes. Yeah, I gotta make it up that way. I was trying to go to the dunes, but I didn't make it out that way because by the time I got around to it, it was just getting kind of cold, and I wanted to go out to the dunes during the summer so I could actually enjoy it a little bit. Hey there, Snowy, doing well? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I enjoy doing the chats with you guys. I really want to do more. I'm going to be doing a lot more after I get back from Indy. We've got, oh shoot, I think about a month to a month and a half of videos backlogged. So, and that was my idea. I still have 4 episodes coming from Toledo, and I should have 4 to 5 episodes coming from just this trip here in Indy and eastern central Indiana. And then there's still, let's see, 2 episodes that haven't come back or haven't come out yet on YouTube that are pretty much ready to go. So we'll have an episode coming out. Well, an episode came out this morning, and then an episode will come out Saturday, and then the final pre-Toledo episode will come out Tuesday, and then we'll have like 8 or 9 unreleased episodes that haven't been edited yet. So from that point on, I'm going to be trying to do a lot more live streams, a lot more travel streams, a lot more of the podcast. I actually talked to I don't know if I mentioned this in the last, I don't remember how long. It's been a little bit of a time. I can't remember if it's been 1 week or 2 weeks since we did the last. I'm kind of losing track of time here recently, but I actually talked to a tattoo artist that is completely down to do tattooing live on the stream. So on one of the upcoming live streams, probably not incredibly soon, but on an upcoming live stream, we actually will have somebody coming on to do tattooing, to tattoo me. He does not do piercings, unfortunately, though, so I still have no one to redo my nose piercing. Yeah, it's been a very exhausting day. I am a bit tired. Some of it, too, is the mix of bad lighting, semi-bad camera. I'm not a big fan of the front-facing iPhone camera. I have an iPhone 8. I don't know about the newer ones, but in person, my eyes never looked this wrinkled. Like, I swear I look 10 years younger in person than I ever do in any episode. But yeah, and then some of it's again, I need to see if I can flip the phone around, because my chat is here and my camera is here, so I need to flip it around the other way so that I'm not constantly looking away and down. So that's the other thing. Yeah, I probably look worse when I'm doing the really, really late night streams. I mean, like the all-night streams when I'm streaming from like 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. to like 8 a.m. But it's been a long, long time. Koala and kookaburra tat. Oh, cool. That'd be really fun. It's very Australian. I like that. I remember singing the, in elementary school, we sung the kookaburra song. Whatever that is, the laugh kookaburra thing. I don't know if that was our dive into Australian culture. I don't really remember what the reasoning behind it was, but a lot of people, that's the weird thing, that's a very widely sung song in like elementary schools here in the Midwest. It might be the lighting. The lighting's different in every hotel, too. The last hotel, my face just looked burning red the entire time, which it looks a little bit red tonight, but I think it's actually red tonight. I kind of got back to the hotel room and I was just freezing, and so I cranked the heat up, so it's probably a little bit real tonight. But actually, my eyes are technically different colors. Like, one of my eyes is really blue and the other is more slightly green. I'll have to see if I can get a good picture of it sometime. But in person, you can actually tell that my eyes are different colors. It's not incredibly drastic, but, like, I want to say that this eye is really blue and this eye is slightly green. Yep, that's the one. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, yeah. I think I played it on recorder, too. Yeah, I got as many lights on as I possibly can. I have, let's see, about 6 different lamps on here, so hopefully it's providing the best light possible. But again, I would rather have it flipped around. The rear facing, or the front facing, this is technically the rear facing camera, but the front camera is really high quality, and this one blows it out a little bit. I can kind of tell that, like, parts of my face are overblown, parts of it a little bit too red. The contrast is kind of messed up. Yeah, I remember Waltzing Matilda. I think I played that one on recorder too. We played lots of international ones. There's Waltzing Matilda. the Kookaburra song. There was a Japanese song, I think it was Sakuda. Thank you, Emmy, I appreciate that. Yeah, lots of those older songs have darker meanings. I think, well, Ring Around the Rosie is a really dark song for being a children's song. If I remember correctly, it's too is about people dying, maybe being killed and burned, something like that, which is odd. Maybe even thinking about it, Rockabye Baby is kind of a morbid song. Like Cradles Falling, you know, like there's a lot of weird things that we used to sing. Yeah. All these old songs are weird and morbid and strange. Yeah. We sing a lot of screwed up songs that we just don't realize. Well, some people do, obviously, but especially in America and especially in the Midwest, we sing a lot of weird, screwed up songs. That it's not that it's our fault. I just think that it's something that's highly ingrained in the culture, and you don't really realize that it's just this incredibly dark song, you know. Hey there, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Political and yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, that's the crazy thing. It's like of all the things for like children to sing or like adults to sing to kids, it's like you wouldn't think that they would be political or war related. And I mean, I guess maybe it made sense at the time that they were written, that it sort of was to maybe in some weird sense be comforting but yet educational. But the fact that it lasted as long as it did and that we still sing about it to this day, it just seems kind of weird. I don't know. About a plague, yeah, I think you're right. I think that's correct. It was about like a plague and burning the bodies. So what is the ashes, ashes, we all fall down? It's kind of dark and morbid. So, I don't know exactly. Maybe somebody could look it up and let us know. But yeah, just bizarre. I don't know. It's the kind of thing that I don't think it would happen today. Like, everything's so on both sides of the aisle very politically correct today anyway. And I don't know. I don't think they would create songs like that for children to sing. I mean, especially with things out there like Teletubbies and weird stuff like that. That's weird in its own right, though. That's almost kind of dark in its own sense. It's not really a dark message, but it's just kind of weird. But everything is kind of upbeat and very positive, which it isn't bad. But yeah, the Teletubbies, yeah, they're just kind of, they're a little bit creepy. A little bit creepy. I don't actually think they ever, do they ever even, I don't think they ever say anything in English either. Isn't it just noises? It's kind of strange. I don't know. I was not young enough to catch that. That was well after my time. Thank goodness. I watched songs with watched shows with actual talking in it. I grew up on Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers and all kinds of that stuff. I don't know. I was a 90s kid. Bananas in Pajamas. I haven't heard of that, but that sounds interesting. I like the rhyme of it. So, yeah. And, you know, it was educational, too, you know. I liked the segments in Mr. Rogers when they showed you how things were made in the factories. I thought that was really cool. Mary, hey! glad you caught the live stream. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us tonight. As we know, the notifications rarely care anymore about any YouTubers anymore. So, glad that you got the chance to join us. Thank you very much. An Aussie kids show. Well, that would probably be why I haven't heard of it. Although I was always big into Australia, even in elementary school. But I never really looked up the Australian TV shows. I was more into, like, traveling there. Then, oh, you watched the Bananas and Pajamas. That's cool. I'll have to look that up. I'm sure I wouldn't be interested in it now, but I mean, it'd just be kind of interesting at least to see what it was. Yeah, I think that people are right in saying that Ring Around the Rosie is about the plague. Reading Rainbow. Actually, I met LeVar Burton's mother-in-law when I used to repair computers. I helped work on her computer. She swore that she was gonna, because she lives in Indiana, and she swore that she was gonna have LeVar come and visit us, but he never did. We were all really excited because it was Reading Rainbow / Star Trek guy, and if anybody watched Star Trek, he's also Geordie LaForge on Star Trek, and so it would have been kind of cool to meet him. And after we fixed her computer, she was like, I would love to have LeVar come in sometime and visit you guys and say hi, and we were all pretty excited about it, and then it never happened. Although I also met Charlie Sheen's girlfriend. Not current girlfriend. What was her name? Brie Olson. She came in and I helped work on her computer too. And she is also a film star of sorts, if you've heard the name before. But in real life, she is kind of a cool person. I do have a lot of respect for her. Yeah. And very nice. She was very nice. And some of my friends were gushing just a little bit too much when she came through the door and handed us her laptop. But I don't think at the time I knew who she was. But that was pre-Charlie Sheen that I met her. An application form for a job. Well, best of luck with that. Hopefully you get the job. Love Star Trek. Yeah, I think Star Trek is pretty cool. I've watched pretty much all of it except for some of the newer stuff. I haven't seen the new, although I know I'll probably get berated by Star Trek fans, but I haven't seen any of the new Picard yet, but I hear it's not canon. So, but I've seen original. I've seen Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. I've seen all of those. I've seen most of the movies. Yeah, Deep Space Nine is different. Yeah, it's more like a drama, pretty like religious oriented around the planet Bajor and the the prophets and the wormhole aliens or whatever. It's kind of an interesting take on it. She's our age. Yeah, she's, I think, the exact same age as me. If we're talking about Brie. Yeah, in fact, she lives not too far away from me. She's now she's not dating Charlie Sheen anymore. She lives back in Indiana, in some very large mansion that not too many people know where it is, but I know the vague area. I have never seen it. I just know the vague area because it's not too far away from me. Don't like the Charlie Sheen type. I don't know if she technically was Charlie Sheen type though. Well, I don't know really what the type is, but she I know what she does or what she did is kind of out there in terms of jobs, but as for her herself, she's actually a very highly intelligent. I've seen interviews with her. She's very intelligent. Like, she didn't have to do what she did. Although I don't hold that against her. I don't really care. But yeah, I don't feel like she fits exactly his type. But I think that was during the Tiger Blood days too. That was kind of crazy days for both of them. I feel like, but I think they both moved on now. I'm a little bit of a Sheen fan, somewhat. I don't know. He's kind of strange. I've liked some of the stuff that he's done. I'm not a fan of everything that he said, but some of the stuff that he's done, like the TV shows and whatnot, have been kind of funny. So he's violent. Oh yeah, like I said, yeah. I'm not a fan of. I'm a fan of some of the content. I don't agree with a lot of what a lot of actors and celebrities do. You know, obviously, there's a lot of bad stuff that goes on in Hollywood and all over, and so yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I don't pay too much attention to it. So sometimes I'm a little bit out of the loop on things too. So you'll have to forgive me if I seem to support somebody who's out there have done some crazy stuff. I don't really pay attention to all that stuff anyway. Friends with his brother on Twitter. Oh, Estevez. What is his first name? Mario. Yeah. Yeah, because his real name is, or his real last name is Estevez, and not Sheen, but he just took the same last public name as his dad, and then he has his brother that just goes by the actual name. Emilio, that's right, yes. Thank you. I don't know why I was thinking Mario. But yeah. I don't know if Charlie's first name is even, I don't know, maybe his first name is Charlie. Maybe it is Charles Estevez. But I thought he might have changed his first name too. So, I don't know. I think there is 3 brothers. I don't know. No problem, Snowy. We'll see you in a little bit. I'm not going to be on for too much longer here. But, I'm going to hang in there a little bit. Can't imagine me being anything like Charlie. No, probably not. I think he has his ups and downs, though. I don't necessarily think that his whole, like I said, with the Tiger Blood phase was necessarily everything that he is, but I'm sure that he's done some stuff that he's regretted as well. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know a heck of a lot about him. I don't really pay attention to that side of things very much, honestly. But yeah, once again, thank you all for joining me. Glad to have you all here on the live stream. If you're liking the live stream, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure, again, if you're liking it and you have other social media like Twitter or whatnot, you can share it on Twitter. Helps the audience to grow, helps me to reach out to new people. And, yeah. He's definitely out there, that's for sure. I haven't heard anything from him, and well, obviously not personally, but I mean, I haven't heard any news on him in a long time either. So I don't know what he's up to these days. Thanks, Linda. Oh, we got 30 thumbs up right now. Oh, I see 30 on my side. I don't know why it's not updating on you're all in, but we got 30 thumbs up currently. So many thanks. You guys are awesome. But yeah, I don't know, that's kind of weird that it's not updating on your end. I often wonder if the numbers that you see and the actual numbers of like thumbs up and viewers is accurate. His dad's in another commercial? trying to think if I've actually seen. I don't really watch TV that often. I watch far more YouTube than I do regular TV now. So, thank you so much, Mary. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it really does help. I don't just say that to say that. As I've said on previous streams, word of mouth is by far the best advertisement, whether it's, word of mouth actually in person or whether it's, just sharing it on your social media. It really does help. Yeah, I find myself watching a ton of YouTube and very little TV anymore. Or if I watch TV, a lot of times it's when they release the full episodes of stuff on YouTube on their own channels. I try not to watch stuff that's on like some crazy dude just downloaded a TV program and then tried to upload it to his YouTube channel. I try to not watch that type of stuff, but if a certain TV channel has their own YouTube account and they upload full episodes to it, I'll watch that. Like I watch some History Channel stuff like that. I think some Travel Channel stuff. Sometimes late night, it just depends. I don't watch a lot of late night because anymore some of it's getting on my nerves. Depending. You made a YouTube channel. Oh, that's awesome, Emmy. Let's take a look at that. You don't have a TV? It's not necessarily a bad thing. I have a TV, but I rarely watch TV on it. I just watch, like I said, YouTube. I also have Netflix and Prime, but very rarely do I turn it on. Sometimes I turn it on mainly just to fall asleep to. I'll turn on The Office or sometimes one of the Star Trek series, and I'll watch that for a little while. So yeah, mainly to fall asleep to, really, more than anything else at this point. And then during the day I'll in between editing or whatever I'm doing, or if I'm doing Photoshop, I'll put a YouTube video on in the background. So yeah, I find it to be a lot more satisfying. And anymore I don't like how fake, not that it's become, I guess it's kind of been that way for a long time, but TV just feels more fake to me these days. Maybe I'm just sort of seeing through the haze, seeing through the mist now and into how it really is. And it's you watch even the reality shows, it's not reality, it's highly produced. Half the situations are completely fake, and you can kind of tell when they switch over, because a lot of them, they're living their real lives up until the point where the producer's like, hey, can you say this to this person? And then you guys get in an argument over it, and then it feels really strange because all of a sudden they're trying to act and they don't know how to act because they're not actors, and it's kind of easy to see through all of the BS, and I think that's why it's so bad, especially when it's supposedly following, it's one thing to be like Survivor. We all know that Survivor is not really reality. It's more of a contest or whatever. And I don't really watch Survivor either, but at the same time, it's expected that some of it's going to be fake. But even the stuff that's supposed to be just following people's lives, it's not really just following people's lives, because half the stuff they say to each other isn't real. It's the guy in the background behind the camera saying, hey, if you guys could get mad at each other, that would create some more drama on screen, and so half the time they're not even mad. It's all these fights, all this drama that's going on, it's all injected by a producer. And so it's just, I find it, they can argue, yeah, well, it's still entertaining, but is it really? Once you figure out that it's completely fake, that no one was mad, no one really cared, everybody's happy, everybody's rich, they're just they're just having a fake argument on screen for the views. It's like, is it really then entertaining after you know that? I would argue that it's probably not. So, and no judgment on people. If you like that, that's fine. You know, more power to you. Watch whatever you want. You know, once I know that it's completely fake, I can't get into it anymore. I don't mind watching stuff that's absurd or trashy. It's just when I find out it's fake is what's wrong. What gets me. If that's what they're really like, you know, if that's what Jersey Shore is really like, then I don't care. You know, watch it, be entertained by it. That's cool. You know, like as long as it's reality. It's when it turns out to be like, okay, those people, you know, either they don't really like each other or they aren't really mad at each other. That's what gets me. It's not what's happening, it's whether it's real to me. Alaskan bush people. I've watched some of that too. Yeah, and a lot of that is completely fake. Not necessarily that they don't know what they're doing, but things don't really happen sometimes. You know, you don't always get in a situation where you're completely, you know, in a bad place, or you don't have any food left, and so a lot of times the producers will be like, okay, we'll just act as if it happened and kind of lead us through what you would do. And I get it to a certain extent, but it's like they're just doing that to sort of fulfill their obligation to their contract. And they're not really a lot of times in those situations. So, you know, I saw one the other day where somebody's snowmobile just randomly out of nowhere, the engine burnt up. And I noticed that the guy just barely lifted the top of the snowmobile and goes, oh yeah, that engine's dead for good. And I was like, you didn't check anything. It's like more than likely the engine got wet and let off a little steam. And they were like, hey, act like the engine's dead and then show us what you would do if the engine was really dead. And it's like, you know, no mechanic or anybody that had any mechanical knowledge about engines whatsoever would just lift the hood and go, yeah, that's dead for good. It doesn't work like that. You don't check an engine in 3 seconds to go, yep, it's dead. Like, unless it's on fire, you know, there's no way. And even then, you know, it still may be salvageable. You know, from the little that I know about engines, if you just see steam or a little bit of smoke and you lift the hood and go, yep, dead, good, I'm going to get off and have to walk back home now, then you didn't really check, you know. And so, hey there, Journey Away for you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Little women always screaming at each other. Yeah, there's a lot of that in reality shows. Everybody's screaming at each other. They don't even live in Alaska. Yeah. I mean, I don't know a heck of a lot about the series, but I know that there's a lot of different places that they film in. Yeah, a lot of scripts. 90 Day. I don't know that I've seen too many of those, but yeah, I know what you're talking about, though. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit behind. I hope I haven't missed anything, guys. Oh, yeah, I've ridden snowmobiles a lot. Well, not a lot, but enough to know that that's just not the case. Yeah, when I watched it, it literally was steaming. Like, it somehow got moisture underneath and sprayed up in, and it was melting the snow and turning it into steam. It wasn't even smoke. I literally could tell just from watching it. I looked at it and I said, yeah, the engine's steaming because it got wet. It's the same thing that happens with a car. I've had it literally happen with my car. It's not on fire. It's not smoking. It's literally just steam because it splashed up liquid water or spit up a bunch of snow and up into the engine, and the heat of the engine caused the steam to come out. And he literally just reached and lifted it up and looked and went, yep, it's dead for good. I'm going to have to walk home now. What am I going to do? And it's like, yeah, producer told you to do that. You know. Was Sue taking off? Thanks for joining us, Sue. You have a good night. See you in the next one. So yeah, that stuff gets me. And then some of the contraptions they make. I don't know if it was Alaskan bush people, but they made one recently, and you could tell the guy was just lying straight through his teeth because he made this water system, and it was like, it was buckets on a rope, and he was pulling the buckets over some pulleys down to a river and dunking the buckets in the river and then bringing them up. And he's like, man, that's so better than having to walk a quarter of a mile down to the river every day. And I thought to myself, how hard is it to walk a quarter of a mile to get a bucket of water? Like, you're literally just doing it for the show. Like, you wouldn't ever, if you were into real bushcraft whatsoever, you would not complain about walking a quarter mile a single time in your life. Like, and especially for a bucket of water. Like, I could do that 3 times a day in the snow in below freezing weather, and it wouldn't be that hard. Maybe in a blizzard. I could see where it would be hard in a blizzard. You know, in certain situations, obviously anything can be hard, but it's just, it's so contrived and produced. Sometimes it's just like you're not even. It's like you're not even giving an example of a real situation. You're just creating something that you never would create in real life, and you'll probably never use it after the cameras are turned off. You know, to get a half a bucket of water from a rope pulley, which will probably break within less than a year, probably 6 months, because either the line gets wet and freezes and snaps, or an animal runs into it, or a tree falls over on it. It's like no one would create an invention like that, you know. It's like you could do so much better with way more reliable technology, you know. Corn and Breaking Benjamins. Was there a concert? Or a show, I guess? Yeah, that'd be cool. I've seen Corn. I got the chance to photograph Corn. That was a lot of fun. They came down for a radio station anniversary party when I was working at with the radio station. Yeah, they always have a really cool. Korn always has really cool mic stands. They're one of those bands. They kind of they're very detail oriented, so I really like how they do stuff. That's really cool. I don't think I've ever seen Breaking Benjamin, but I've seen Korn once and photographed him once. But never Breaking Benjamin. I've seen a lot, though. But there's a few that I still would like to see that I've never seen. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've been to any shows. I need to start going again. I don't really have many people to go with. People have sort of either moved on with their lives or are out of my area now, moved. I always kind of find it more interesting to go with people I know. So it's been a while since I've been to any live shows. I want to start another thing I've been trying to do for the 539 channel in terms of the travel content is I wouldn't mind starting to go and checking out some of the music festivals where a bunch of bands are playing. I have to be careful just because of the copyrighted music, but wouldn't really go there for filming wise anyway. For my own personal experience, I would love to go there and see the music, but for filming I would love to just go and check out some of the crazier festivals and things like that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, Breaking Benjamin have been around for a long time, really long time. Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely been to shows with good concert goers and bad concert goers. I've been to a few shows where like the people you're with get mad if one person bumps into them, and it's like, you know, you're at a show. It's like there's a mosh pit right over there. Like, like you have to expect that somebody's gonna, and we weren't even in the mosh pit, and somebody randomly bumped into one of my friends and they got all mad about it. And it's like, you're at a live show. People are dancing around. You know, they're into the music. It's like you have to expect that somebody's gonna bump into you accidentally. You can't get mad about it. It's like it's not like you're in the middle of the mosh pit and somebody accidentally hit you in the face or something. It's like somebody just bumped into you and you're getting all up in arms over it. In Grand Rapids. Oh yeah, I need to get to Michigan. There's a lot of them I want to do. And even like the art festivals. There's a really cool festival out in the desert that's sort of like a Mad Max type. I think it's Badlands. Not. I want to go to Burning Man at some point too, but I think Burning Man, they're getting really strict, and I don't like it. Burning Man's kind of anti-YouTuber now, and they'll tell you to stop filming if they see you. So I think that's kind of dumb. So I really want to go, but at the same time, I don't like the new regulations. But I love the artwork there. I love the cars, the art cars. I think that's really amazing. I love the fire art that they have. And so it just irritates me that they're taking this stance of being anti-YouTuber. Don't film here without a permit. Don't film your personal experience, and definitely don't share it with anybody. And it's like, again, one of those things where it's like, it's not harming your production. It's only making more and more people want to go. And proof is in the fact that there's a lottery system for tickets now. It's like, it's so popular that they can't even give tickets to everybody that wants to go. They have to put you on a lottery, and you get tickets if you're lucky. So it's like, it's not harming you to allow YouTubers to film. In fact, it's just allowing more people to enjoy it that didn't get to go there because they didn't win the lottery, the ticket lottery. So it's ridiculous. And so that part of it really discourages me. But I want to go to Badlands. There's a couple different ones I want to go to. Badlands is far less music and it's just more like a lot more automotive and a lot more artsy. Kind of like I said, just a post-apocalyptic feel, stuff like that. Hey there, Colleen. Good to have you. So I think that'd be a lot of fun. It's kind of in the same area too. At least not too far away. I don't know exactly where it is. But yeah, I think that'd be kind of a fun thing to do. That would be kind of in the spirit of what 539 does. It's a little bit out there, but I think it'd be something that's cool. Rock on the Stage sounds... I've heard of that. I've never been to that before. Yeah, I've never actually been to any full-on festivals before. I've never done the camping. Well, I've camped, but I've never done camping at the festivals or anything like that. Sturgis, like the biker stuff? I've been to Sturgis before, and I filmed in Sturgis. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. That stuff can get a little dangerous. The biker's a little rough. I love bikes, though. I have friends that ride. I have friends that are in clubs. In fact, some of the people that used to be in my car club that I helped to found back in the day are currently in bike clubs. So, yeah, I appreciate the lifestyle in a lot of ways. Some of it, not all of it. But, that sort of sense of togetherness, of brotherhood, of doing something that people like and getting together and sharing that experience. I think that's a lot of fun and really cool. Night, Venna. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you too. So yeah, a certain aspect of the biker wow, apparently I can't talk right now. The biker culture, I really enjoy. And like I said, I've known a few different bikers. One of my friend's dad built choppers back in the day. and actually built cars as well. He used to build choppers. He built they're called T-buckets. They're like old Ford Model Ts, but like really beefed up. Like think of it like a Ford Model T meets drag racer. So I remember when I was little, always going on rides in his various T-buckets that he would make, and that was a huge part of my childhood. And then a lot of my family owned show cars. One of my uncles owned, what was it? I can't remember what kind of car it was. It might have been an Impala, but it was one of Sylvester Stallone's cars. Literally. Not like the same kind of car, literally used to be owned by Sylvester Stallone. And he owned that for like 10 years and then sold it, I think. Maybe it wasn't that long. Yeah, I'm probably too short to ride a bike too. I'd have to get a lower profile, for sure. I could probably ride a chopper if it was lowered. I like everything lowered anyway, so if I had a bike, I would definitely extend the axle and lower it down. In fact, I'm going to lower my car at some point, so sort of like a rat rod. Yep, that's exactly it. Yeah. It's like T-bucket is like the rat rod of Model Ts, except more drivable. They're not quite as low as a lot of rat rods, and they're pretty reliable. How tall am I? 5'4". So I'm pretty short. Yeah, I actually look, oddly, I think it's because I use a kind of a wide angle on a lot of my films. Even with the G7X, it's still a little bit wide. So I often look heavier, and then with the contrast, I often look older. So in person, like, I look probably 10 years younger and 10 pounds lighter. Like, yeah. So I'm a small guy, but I'm cool with that. Man, we've been going for a while. I wasn't even expecting to go this long. 87 minutes now we've been live. What made me get into doing videos? I actually started doing videos back when I was in my car club. And we had an old mini DVI, or mini DV camcorder, and we would always film ourselves going out and cruising the streets, or, you know, sometimes stupid stuff like doing burnouts, and occasionally we'd film people doing drag races and things like that. And long before that, I always was in it. Like, whenever, you know, my family had my mom and dad had a camcorder when I was little, and I always liked to take over that and be the person behind the camera, and always was into still photography. One of the first, when I first really came sort of into myself, and sort of had my own opinions on life and art and things like that, one of the first things I really started getting into besides toys was cameras. I remember for one of my really early birthdays, like maybe 7 or 8 years old, I wanted a camera, and started with still photography, and then moved to video, and it was just something I was always interested in. I always loved it. And like I said before, I had my own camera. I was always the person that wanted to take over the family camcorder and be the one that filmed. So it was just something really deep inside of me, something inherent in who I am. I just always wanted to create and share and create some sort of production, and I was always worried about, I was always critiquing, like, my parents too, like maybe to almost to the point where it was probably annoying, but I remember critiquing production style you know, if they would film my school concert, it's like, you know, if they wouldn't film the entire song that we were singing in choir, or film the entire song that we were playing in band, I would get kind of irritated and be like, you know, that's not how the production should go. We need to film the entire song so that people can, you know, if you only want to film one and then be done with it, that's fine, but don't film, you know, 10 seconds of each song, because that doesn't give a full perspective of what this is about. And so, you know, I was always kind of into the production value of things and all that. Thank you, Kalina. I appreciate that. Do I go to car shows? Yeah, from time to time. I actually did a few episodes. I don't know if they're still up or not. They weren't very popular for whatever reason. Maybe just because I did travel stuff more often, and then I threw in like car shows and like street racing stuff. I did a few car shows back in the day, and I think I removed a lot of that content just because it wasn't very popular on the channel, and I didn't want it to affect me with the new algorithm. But I love doing car shows. I was just at the pre-show version of the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Festival. I got early access to that just because I know people that work there, and so I did a lot of Instagram stuff. I think it was last year's show. So we were one of the few people that got to walk around the thousands and thousands of cars before anybody was let through the gate, and so I took a lot of photos. If you see a lot of the old car photos and old neon signs and stuff like that, that was from me being let in for early access to Auburn Cord Duesenberg, which is anytime anybody big like Jay Leno goes there all the time. Lots of NBA stars that are buying old cars go there. It's one of the most famous auctions in the world, and car shows. Some of them are being auctioned, some of them are just there for the show. Hey there, JP. Good to have you. Love North Carolina. I have an uncle who lives in North Carolina. Well, uncle and an aunt and a few cousins, I believe. It's been a while since I've been there, though. Actually, did some photography work in North Carolina, too. The Batmobile, yeah. I filmed that recently on a 539 production episode, and I also was there. I don't know if it was that exact one. There was a couple different replicas, because they use, when they're filming the movies, they obviously have like sometimes like 10 different ones. Some of them are rolling models, some of them are for still shots, and so there's a few different ones. I don't know if it was the one that I filmed on the channel or not for 539, but I was actually, for that model, in the audience for the auction, and it was a rolling model. It had an engine in it, and then it had a fake jet engine on the, I don't know why I need air quotes for fake, but it had a fake jet engine on the back. And so that's how they did in the movie. They had a V8 engine and then a fake jet engine that would fire the, excuse me, I'm getting a dry mouth. That's better, okay. But they had to give that effect in the movie, they had the sort of a flamethrower on the back to simulate the jet engine. Hey there, Reverend. Good to have you. Hi, Savannah. Thank you. Well, yeah, that's awesome. Always happy to give some background noise. I'm the same way. A lot of times when I'm editing, I'll put another video on of somebody else's in the background. I don't know how I can manage to pay attention to both at the same time, but I find it easier to edit if I have a completely random, not random, but you know, one of the channels I like to watch. If I have one of their videos going on in the background, I actually find it easier to edit for some reason. A lot of times I don't like editing in not really silence, but in like only my videos. Oh, no worries. It's cool. I'm just happy that you came by, Reverend. No problem. I'm sorry if it was my fault and or YouTube's fault and the notifications didn't go through. But otherwise, just good to have you here. Sorry I put my hand in front of the screen there. Homemade Ecto 1. I don't know that I actually know what that is. That's really cool, though. I was always into modifying cars. I haven't really done much on the Focus. But I have some really cool ideas on the Focus that I'm actually going to modify it pretty heavily here pretty soon. I meant to start last year, and then, yeah, I just never got around to it. But I got a few things I need to fix on the interior. I had a fan that went out, and then, excuse me, I also had a few other parts break, and I need to replace those. But I am going to do the paint job still. Oh, from Ghostbusters. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's really cool. That's really amazing. Yeah, I love those cars. That'd be really cool. Speaking of movie cars, I would love to get a DeLorean at some point. That'd be really fun. I love the gull-wing doors. But, yeah. I want to do the truck bed liner paint job. I should have that done by spring. The only reason I haven't done it yet, I have everything ready. I have the money to do it. It's just been cold, and paint and different coatings, truck bed coatings like that don't dry well in the cold. So, and I don't have the biggest. I have garage space available, but I don't have the biggest space available, and it's not the warmest. So I need time, and I need a little bit warmer weather potentially, or maybe to get just a heater. I don't really know. I might do it here pretty soon, but I'm going to be doing that hopefully by spring, so the car will be black, jet black, truck bed liner, and then I'm going to lower it, and I'm going to put a touchscreen interface on the inside, and take out the radio. And then, what else? Why am I blanking? I'm adding heated seats, reverse camera and radar system. And I'm going to do most of the work myself, at least. I'm not super good at cars. I'm definitely not a automotive guru, but I'm pretty good, and I've done a lot of work myself before. So I'm going to do most of the work myself. I won't probably lower it myself. I think I'm going to do air ride, which isn't really good for performance, but I'm not really working on performance anyway. I kind of like the Focus just for the fact that it has really, really amazing gas mileage. It actually gets higher than rated gas mileage. I get about 40 miles a gallon. Don't forget the mini party. Oh yeah, I'm sure the police would love that. I've gotten pulled over too many times. Not even because I'm doing really dumb stuff. I got pulled over in Vegas. They claimed it was because I swerved, but I found out later it was because they were having cocaine problems recently. And so, and I knew that it was weird because I handed them my Indiana driver's license, and the cop looked at, like, the police officer. I don't know, a lot of police officers don't like being called cops, but the police officer, who was really nice, he was an amazingly nice person, and no complaints about him, but I could tell he was kind of grilling me because he looked at my Indiana driver's license, then promptly looked at me and goes, "So you're from California?" And I said, "No, I was driving through California." And it's like, but I just handed you my Indiana license plate, so you know or not license, and so you know I'm from Indiana. Like, but he just was just doing it to see if I would mess up and go with him on it, and then he was gonna search my car, which he wouldn't have found anything anyway, because all I had in there was camera equipment and clothing. So, but at the same time, I knew what he was getting at. And then when I asked Xavier later on, he said, "Oh yeah, we've had a huge coke problem recently, and they're doing a bunch of random searches in the cars." And I was like, okay, well that makes sense. He was probably just trying to figure out if I was smuggling drugs. So work at a gym, wow, well, that must be nice. In some ways, at least. I would love to have access to all that equipment. Although I can't really do much. I have really bad, like, carpal tunnel so I can't really do any like presses. I have flat feet, so it hurts me immensely when I walk for too long. Although I did make a recent record by doing 30,000 steps in one day. I think that's like 13 miles. But yeah, my body has like a natural aversion to exercise that I don't really like. Sorry, I'm getting behind on comments again, guys. I'm really sorry. Oh, yeah, that'd be cool to have a Back to the Future DeLorean. Oddly, you can still get technically a new DeLorean. It's not like new, but whoever the company was that purchased the rights to the DeLorean name, you can still go to the DeLorean website and get made from. They purchased a bunch of the parts that never got put together, and so you can basically get a new off-the-shelf DeLorean. As long as they're still available. I know as of a few years ago, you could still place new orders. Maybe that's changed recently. The favorite place I've ever visited? I don't know. I like just going to different places all the time. California was fun. Nevada was fun. That was one of the coolest trips I've ever been on, just because it was. I was gone for almost a month. Yeah, I got a Fitbit. Yeah, that was what I got the 30,000 on. Hey there, Kelly. Just in Indy doing a bunch of filming here. I'm going to be going to downtown. I am going to be going to downtown, but I have a few different, about 4 or 5 locations, maybe 5 or 6 locations around the city that I'm going to be trying to hit up tomorrow. An extra injection? Oh, yeah, that sucks. Yeah, it always flares up. I have it on both sides. I have kind of large lumps on my hands there, and then it flares up if I do a lot of computer work or if I try to do like exercise, like if I do push-ups, it's just terrible. So like I'm strong enough to do it, but I'd probably get a lot more muscle tone if I did it on a daily basis, but it would be devastating to the carpal tunnel. Or if I do any type of weightlifting whatsoever, same thing, can't really do it. It affects affects my hands, like I said. And then I pretty much destroyed my right hand from computer work, just from screwdrivers. So if I use screwdrivers now and I put too much pressure on, I'll get shooting pains. So surgery, it's livable, so I'm trying to avoid surgery. I was born in 83. I'll let you do the math. I'll be back in Northern California here, not too far away. Probably this year sometime, I would hope. 15 minutes, wow. I didn't realize it was that easy. Hey there, Bale. Milwaukee. I would love to go to Milwaukee. I have plans to go to Wisconsin at some point. Beer Barons, wow. Oh, wow. I actually was at a, oh no, that was something, I can't remember what the exact name of it. It was close to Forest Home in Indiana recently, but yeah, I actually have been talking with some people about Wisconsin, and I actually kind of want to do a loop around Lake Michigan, to start in Michigan and then go north along the shore of Lake Michigan and then into the Upper Peninsula and then on over to the northern Wisconsin border and then down south and then around through Chicago again. That's the plan here. I have a lot of cool locations I want to do, including some of the lighthouses up in Michigan. I think would be fun, and probably in Wisconsin as well. So that's definitely one of the longer road trips that I've been planning. I don't know exactly when it's going to be happening though. So that's in the works. And some island excursions coming up here pretty soon too. I want to start doing some of the island stuff in the spring. Yeah, I mean, I love everything California. Honestly, I want to do a lot of different things in Cali the next time that I go through. I want to do a trip down the coast between San Fran and LA, maybe a little bit farther in LA. When am I coming back to Ohio? Trains? Oh yeah, I love trains. I've done some trains in the past. Some of the stuff off the channel too. I did actually a train trip in about 8 hours into Canada a while ago. But when am I going back to Ohio? I'm in and out of Ohio all the time actually, so I'll probably be back there within the next few weeks or so. I don't know how far into Ohio, but I'm always over in Ohio. I have a lot of locations. Some of them I don't always label. It depends on the location and if I feel like it needs protected or if it's been too damaged or whatever. I won't say where I am exactly. So, but yeah, I probably have 20 plus locations that I filmed in Ohio. So I don't know what. It might have been a steam train. I can't remember. I remember I boarded in Sault Ste. Marie, which is just over the border from Michigan. And it was an older style train. It was about an 8-hour train ride. Yeah, the bridges are pretty crazy. And we went into, wherever we went was a pretty mountainous region. So I remember at one point we turned the corner of the mountain and you could look back and see because I was kind of in one of the front cars, and I remember you could see the entire distance all the way back, and it was a really long train. You could see all the way back to the end of the train and then down the cliff, and it was a little bit unnerving. I can't remember how old I was though, but I loved Canada. It was a great trip. And went up and we stopped and it actually stopped in this wilderness area and we got to see a bunch of really cool waterfalls and things like that. So yeah, it was a really fun experience. I'm always looking for any of your guys' opinions, any suggestions whatsoever. You can always, if you have anything that you'd like to see done on the channel, best way would be to either leave it in the comments or even better to email me over at 539productions@gmail.com and I will certainly try and get to them. I get a lot of suggestions. I tried to reply to everybody. Sorry, I'm playing with trash on the table here. Lindenwood, I've heard of that. I think I know where that is. I'm trying to do an abandoned train tunnel here pretty soon. But yeah, I love doing the train type episodes. And then I've done like the old, I've done the trails where they're old train tracks that have been turned into walking and biking trails, and you can still see a lot of the old relics just sitting on the side of the, I would say the side of the tracks, but it's not really the side of the tracks anymore because there's not really tracks. But you can see the old railroad ties and railroad spikes. No, you don't have to email me for that. No, I mean, just in general. I'm sure I can remember that. A ride on one of your rockets? What kind of rocket are we talking about? Like a rocket car or a rocket that flies in the air? We talking about some Elon Musk type stuff here? Need some energy drink. I'm gonna have to get off here pretty soon. I need to get some rest before I go back out on the road. My eyes look really bloodshot. I don't think they look that bad in real life. I just noticed that though. Anyway, I love rockets. I used to do, speaking of rockets, I used to do model rocketry. Actually, me and one of my friends in school, we made a, wasn't really a missile silo, but we made a shoulder-mounted model rocket launcher, a tube launcher. Oh yeah, I've seen brochures on the Smoky Mountain one. I always wanted to do that. I did the one in Dollywood. I think that's a steam train. I've ridden that a bunch of times. Near Truckee, an abandoned train tunnel. I'll have to look that up. Is that, what state is that? Is that Indiana? Yeah, it's not sore. My eyes feel fine. They look bad. I don't know. It might just be the lighting. Like I said, it does look kind of strange. Like I can tell, like right around here, the color is completely incorrect. It's really overblown. That's true. Well, maybe not too novel, but I would definitely get demonetized. You moderate. Hey, Mike. Alabama. Loved filming in Alabama. Had a great time there. Sounding rockets. Yeah, I'm down. As long as I can film. Oh yeah, I remember, yeah, that was tragic, the fire in Gatlinburg. That's too bad. Yeah, oh, California. Okay, gotcha. I understand now, yeah. Yeah, because there's one in Indiana, too, that I want to check out. I can't remember what the name of that one is, but, yeah, I really can't wait to get back out to Cali. It's really one of my favorite places. I like it out west in general. Thank you very much, Mike. I really appreciate that. Thanks for joining us tonight on the live stream. Appreciate you being here. Film yours. Are we still talking about the poll? YouTube just took 65 views away from you? Oh, yeah, they do that to me, too. They always warn me at the end of the year. They're like, hey, look, your subscriber count might drop because we're going to be eliminating a lot of what we consider to be fake subscribers. I'm like, yeah, thanks for fixing that problem, but not fixing any other problem. You make sure to take subscribers away and views away, but where's the fix to the notification issues? So, yeah, it's irritating. So, yeah, what do you do? Well, they do it to me too. But I know that doesn't make it any better, especially when you're trying to grow, you know. They don't know 100% if they're fake. They determine it through the account actions. So if the account looks like it's thumbs upping way too many videos, or it's leaving too many comments that seem way too similar, things like that. I don't know. That's the best way I can describe it. if it looks like spam. But the problem is it doesn't, especially the algorithm, it doesn't really always accurately determine if it's spam. I get the stuff, a lot of your guys' comments wind up in the spam folder, and it's like completely legit comments. Like somebody will reply to somebody else's comment and be like somebody will be like, okay, well, where was this location? And somebody will reply, oh, this location's in this city, and then that'll get marked as spam. And it's like, why would you even think that's spam? Why would the algorithm even assume that's spam? Or if someone's like, hey, I really enjoyed this video, and it'll be like, yeah, we think this is spam. It's like, something's wrong with your spam algorithm if you're thinking that this is spam. Thank you, Bill. I really appreciate that. I try. I try to do unique locations. I try to do a lot of stuff that hasn't been done on YouTube before. That's sort of my goal when I do videos, and not to be judgmental against the people that do popular locations, but at the same time, it's just not my thing. I really like to do stuff that maybe nobody's ever seen before. So that's always my goal, is show people things that they've never ever seen before in their life. And obviously, occasionally people are local to certain locations and they know and love it and they enjoy it for a completely different reason, and that's really awesome too. But yeah, my goal is just to not only show unique locations, but sort of show a different, especially when I'm in the Midwest, just show a different side of the Midwest that most people don't really think about. You know, obviously there's a lot of stereotypical thoughts in most areas of the world. People get this idea of what places are like, and the Midwest in general gets that sort of farming, corn, grain stereotype, and the truth is that there's a lot of forested areas, there's a lot of mountainous areas, there's a lot of really cool places, and I think it's interesting to show a different light to a lot of these places. Yeah, I like doing the old historic graveyards, things like that. I'm not trying to build like a graveyard-centric channel, but I do love doing the historic and often like hidden locations, out-of-the-way locations, stuff like that. So, yeah, anything that I find just really interesting, I'll put it on film. Thank you, Reverend. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate all of you guys. You guys are wonderful. I love your comments. I love reading the comments. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up while I'm doing this. Yeah, people often associate Indiana with corn, and there's a lot of corn here. Probably too much corn here, but at the same time, there's a lot of different places here, and that's what I try to highlight. So, yeah. Yeah, I like the following along with the restorations. I think it's a cool process, especially because some of them get so bad, and then once they do the restorations, they look perfect. And like the one I've been following recently, it's like it looks so bad now, but probably in a couple of years, people will never even realize that it ever was restored. They'll just think that's the way it always has looked, and it's almost a shame that they don't realize it. I think that it should be that information should be probably more readily available, because for people to go there after it's done and not realize how much work has been put into keeping it that way is kind of a shame in and of itself, because it really gives the wrong idea to people. And so if they can see maybe my video and realize just how much hard work goes into keeping these places looking nice and how bad they really can get, then maybe they'll put a little bit more effort into maybe doing a little bit of volunteer work themselves if they get the chance, or maybe throwing some donations somebody's way that is doing these type of jobs and doing this kind of charity work, and so you know, I hope that my videos can bring that attention to these places. Yeah, thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I just said that as I read your comment too. Whoops. So yeah, oh, I'm not sure I'm understanding what that means. You're having problems with thumbs up? Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Although that is another problem people have reported is people give videos thumbs up and then they come back and there's no longer a thumbs up on the video. I don't know if that's what you mean by that. I might just be reading that wrong, but that is another weird problem that YouTube has from time to time. There also has been people that have subscribed to my channel and then come back later and find one of my videos and realize that they're not subscribed anymore, even though they never unsubscribed. So I think it's one of those cases where YouTube thought that they were a fake subscriber and just unsubscribed them to the channel. So yeah, and that happens a lot. I don't know why. It's part of another. There's like a couple different algorithms that YouTube has, and that's one of them. Is trying to figure out fake thumbs up. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit tired. I need to get off here pretty soon. It's been, like I said, a rough day. I traveled all day long, and then I traveled a bunch more just searching for something to film in between the rain. And then just as soon as the rain would stop, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to head to this location and film this place. And as soon as I would do that, it would start raining again, and then it would dry up. And then I'd be like, okay, well, I'm kind of close to something else. Let's keep going. And then it would start raining again, and it was just, like I said, not so much physically exhausting, but mentally exhausting day. So I'm hoping to have a lot better day tomorrow. Like I said, it's mostly going to be locations that aren't too far from each other. All of them are in the borders of Indianapolis, and a lot of really cool locations. So hopefully the weather's a little bit better. Again, the weather all day called for cloudy weather, and it was just drizzling and wet all day instead. So I really never can trust the weather, and it's just frustrating. And it, again, you know, when you get frustrated like that, especially when you're expecting the day to be very productive, and then it's not productive, that is just, you know, just mentally exhausting. And that's pretty much what today was. I was incredibly excited just to film one location. And it was a really good location too. I'm really happy at the location that I got, but it was like, really, realistically, I should have been able to get a lot more. I've thought about camping out in the car. Some places are harder than others. There are a few locations that allow it, and then I don't know. I don't know if I'd really do it like in parking lots or whatever, but if I found like a free campsite type location, I know a few places around here that allow you to camp for free, whether it's just in your car or with a tent or whatever. As long as you're the first person there, it's just first come, first serve, and you can hang around for up to 2 weeks. I would love to do something like that sometime, maybe, but I've slept in my car a few times. I never was a big fan, but yeah, I guess you do what you gotta do. But it's not so much that as just figuring out when the weather is gonna be okay. For me, at least, you know, I get out there a lot, but you know, just sometimes you get a streak of bad weather, and you know, I've gone out several days in a row before and not been able to film anything, whether because I just wasn't able to get to anything, couldn't find anything, or because the weather didn't cooperate. You know, sometimes it just really doesn't work out, you know. Yeah, again, that YouTube, the different algorithms, they're weird. They'll unsubscribe you a lot of times. They'll remove thumbs up. They'll not notify people. It's a hard environment, especially now. It's sad. Yeah, again, I wish that YouTube would concentrate on fixing real issues instead of trying to remove so-called fake thumbs up or fake subscribers that they assume are fake that aren't always fake. So it's unfortunate, but it's nothing I can do about it right now, unfortunately, and it's kind of a site-wide problem a lot of people are dealing with, so it's just sad. But I assume at some point it'll get fixed. You know, something's going to come along, some change is going to occur, and things are going to get better at some point. I think it has to. Yeah, I've got a lot of camping stuff. I've got a huge tent. I've got a 3-room cabin tent. I've got numerous sleeping bags and cooking equipment. I've got pretty much everything I need to camp. But yeah, I just haven't really had the chance. I have a few locations that I want to do. There's a few places I want to go that I've camped at before when I wasn't doing YouTube that I want to do. So I'll probably do that at some point. Yeah, I agree. It is, yeah, it's frustrating and unfair. I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah, it sucks sometimes. It really does. Thank you, Hot Topics. Yeah. But, I mean, we're still growing. We're still getting views. So I at least gotta be happy with that. So, you know, I try to stay positive. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I'm going to do that here, probably in just a few minutes here. I'm going to stay on here for, at least we're going to make it till 10:30, which is only like 2 minutes, and then we'll probably head out for the night. So, yeah. Yeah, I can't complain too much. Like I said, you know, obviously I've been doing this a while, and I've grown quite a bit, and the more you grow, the easier it gets, and so, you know, I know there's a lot of people out there that have it way harder than I do, and so I don't want to complain too much because, you know, it's like I know there's a lot of people out there with, you know, a few thousand subscribers, and they're putting in a lot of effort and getting maybe a couple hundred views on things, and, you know, 3:28 p.m.? Oh, yeah, you're in UK. So, wait. Actually, I don't know what time it is in the UK. Maybe that is AM. Thank you, Kyle. I really appreciate that a lot. Yeah. All of you are really great, and you've really done a lot to support the channel, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you for doing that, you know. AM, okay. Yeah. I guess, yeah, that makes more sense. UK is not that far ahead of us. I'm just not down on my Greenwich Mean Time. But I still got to make it over to the UK. That is on the list. And I've got a fun UK trip and Europe trip planned. Kind of planned, not planned out completely. But I have some fun stuff in mind. And kind of a cool halfway road trip. Halfway other types of trip. But I think it's going to be really cool for the channel. I don't know when it's going to happen, though. Thank you, Girl in the Curl. Yeah, again, yeah, if you enjoy it, make sure you share it. Make sure you give a thumbs up. And thank you for all the thumbs up and shares that you've given me tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Emmy. Yeah. And again, I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you here. You know, all the work that I put into the editing, and all the work I put into the traveling and the filming, you know, it's worth it to go there and see the awesome comments that I get. Thank you, Kelly. And again, almost everything is positive, and the more and more I grow, the more and more surprised I am that we still maintain that positive attitude. You know, I see so many channels that are just inundated with negative responses and negative comments and negative people and attacks and for whatever reason, we've been able to keep it highly positive. Like 90% of the comments still are positive, and on a channel that's grown to this size, that's just so unlikely that uh, it amazes me every time I see it. It's like, you know, I'll scroll through the comments, and then maybe every time I scroll through the comments, you know, every time I upload a video, I'll scroll through the comments and I'll respond to as many as I can without hopefully tripping off the YouTube algorithm into thinking I'm spamming. Hey Sandra, good to have you. I'm not gonna be on much longer, I will admit, but I appreciate you coming and being here. But yeah, out of the hundreds and hundreds of comments that I scroll through every time that I upload a new video, I usually will find less than 3 comments that are negative or insulting, or, you know, and out of all the comments that are insulting, most of them are ridiculous and almost make no sense. Before I go, I'll share one of them. Somebody told me on one of the last videos, the video where the truck was revving its engine and trying to intimidate me, people just get weird ideas, I think is what it is. And thank you, Linda, I appreciate that. And yeah, good karma, yeah, I agree. But somebody basically told me that since a lot of cemeteries were on private property, I was essentially trespassing, and that the truck trying to intimidate me was sort of justified in the fact that that I shouldn't really be there, and I shouldn't really even be filming that place. Hey Pam, thanks for joining us. And I thought to myself, like, that's just not the case, because even though a lot of the cemeteries, you know, they are right, a lot of cemeteries and historic places like this are on private property, but almost across the board, these private landowners and property owners encourage people to go there and enjoy the history. And a lot of places, including here in Indianapolis and the past times that I've filmed here, like I think it's Crown Hill that I filmed, actually give their own tours. You can go there and pay to get a tour of the place and have a professional tour guide give you a tour through the place. And so they are public domain in a lot of ways. They are privately owned and privately cared for. So it's sort of like a grocery store. That's the way I would, you know, grocery stores are private property, they're not public property, but you're not trespassing being there, because it's assumed that unless you're breaking the rules, you're encouraged to come there and do business. And same thing with like different like gardens and things and other types of locations that I've done. A lot of them technically are private property, but it's assumed that people will go there and they're encouraged to do so. So yeah, a lot of cemeteries and graveyards are owned and operated by churches or private organizations, whether it's like Oddfellows or any other charity type organization. And so technically, yeah, it is private property, but it's not discouraged at all. And in fact, if you read the rules and regulations, almost never on any of the signage do you see any listing of please, no photography, no recording. It's mostly like, hey, if you're going to leave decorations, leave these type of decorations, and here's when we're going to remove them, or don't leave these type of decorations here. So, excuse me. Yeah, it's rarely discouraged, and yeah, I would think of them more of as a public space than private property, because again, it's like I said, like a grocery store. It is private property, but it's also encouraged for you to be there. So it's not really the same thing. And so, you know, I thought to myself, you know, maybe look up your facts before you come on and sort of leave these negative comments about, me trespassing on somebody's property when really these people encourage such things. Not trespassing, but enjoying history, researching history, looking at the places, photographing the places. And in fact, in one of the places that's coming up from Toledo, I actually did contact the staff, and because of this weird car was following me around again, and so I contacted the staff, partially for my own benefit and partially just to be like, let's see what they have to say about it. And so I said, do you have private security here that's following me around? And they said, no. They said, no, you're perfectly fine. We have no problem with you being here. So, they essentially gave me the green light. Like, no, you're cool. Do what you do. Continue on. Take your pictures. Do whatever you want. You're not a problem here. And that car, whatever they're doing, they're not part of us. They're not our security. And don't worry about them. So, yeah, there are some cemeteries that are completely, they're private cemeteries on private property, and they have signs up that say no trespassing. I don't do that. And there are a few that I've turned down because I felt like I would have been trespassing. Oh, yeah, I did hear about it. Yeah. Kobe Bryant passed away in a tragic helicopter accident in Southern California. I actually heard about it first from Big Steve when I saw his video. That's crazy. That's terrible. Too many helicopter crashes recently. It's unfortunate. So yeah, that's too bad. So yeah, definitely an unfortunate thing, and always hate to hear people losing their lives in situations like that anyway. I would wish for everybody to be able to live as long as they possibly can and live to an old age and go that way at the very least, instead of losing it in a tragedy like that. So it's really unfortunate, but yeah, it unfortunately happens. And helicopters are a dangerous thing. I've flown in helicopters myself. I've always liked them. I've always oddly been told that they were safer than regular airplanes. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe I was misinformed in the past, but it just seems like a lot of that's happening recently. So it's really crazy. It makes me think twice about doing it myself. And yeah. So, yeah, definitely my heart goes out to all the people affected and the families especially, who have lost their loved ones in tragic accidents like that. So, but, all right, guys. Yeah, I need to get going here so I can get some rest here before I get up in the morning. In Taft, California? I'll have to look that up. I'll check into that. Maybe that'd be an interesting place to visit. But yeah, that's an interesting rule there. But all right, I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna try to do maybe another live stream tomorrow if I get the chance. I have no idea, and I will update you guys hopefully via Twitter and Instagram if I'm able to do the live stream. Although I completely forgot tonight, so I apologize there. But thank you all for joining me. Appreciate you all being here. And again, I'll let you know as soon as possible what I'm going to be doing tomorrow night. Hopefully one way or the other, I'll just update you via social media. And if not, maybe we'll do another live stream here in a couple days from the command center. I've been wanting to do that as well. So thank you all. Appreciate you all so much for being here. Thank you again for all the thumbs up, all the shares, all the lovely comments and the support, and for joining me just here for this hangout session here in the hotel room. So appreciate you all. Hope you all have a really wonderful night, and hopefully I will see you all again soon. Thank you.